Right. So I want us to go into talk about renting and owning a home.
Yes.
All right. Which one do you agree? Is it better to rent or buy a home in Ghana's current economy?
Literally, it's better to buy, but can you afford to buy? Yes. So it's better to own a home in anywhere in the world. It's better to own a home, but owning a home is a luxury because you might not be able to afford it, as I said. And then the next issue that happens is that people begin to try to do it anyway. So they buy very cheap land outskirts of town, build very big houses that takes them forever to build. And by the time they're done building, they can't stay there because it's too far from town. So they don't make good decisions when they try that. So fresh graduates, if you've not had 10 to 20 years of experience working, you have to rent.
Okay.
Rent a modest place, not too far from town. Don't go and rent a very nice house far from town. Rent a modest place closer to your workplace. Then you begin to save money. You earn more money by getting promoted at work and do stuff, or you start a business, you make money, you invest. One of those three things. Get promoted, start a business, or invest in another business. You make money. Now, every money that you make, you begin to invest it into owning a house now. Okay. So you go to any of the real estate developers, they have a 3-year plan. Say, okay, the land is just $20,000, $30,000. It's a lot of money. You pay for it anyway. Then you start building. Okay, in the next 5 years, you would have owned the home. Then you can move in there. If not, to buy an apartment. There is another problem in Ghana. We don't like apartments. And I tell people that if you buy an apartment in your 20s or 30s, by the time you are 60, you have a lot of houses. But if you decide to build your dream home in your 20s and 30s, you may not finish by the time you retire. You get the logic.
Yeah.
So if you get a chance, an apartment is still going $50,000. You don't have to prove anything to anybody by buying a $500,000 house.
And I think that's one of the challenges. Yes. Many people want to do their dream, build their dream home, own their dream home, and all of that.
Yes.
But I was listening to somebody who was saying that instead of doing 2-bedroom, 3 bedrooms at a go, you could actually start from 1 bedroom.
Yes.
And then as your income increases, or you begin to get some more money, you can expand, then get to 2, 3, and then you keep going till how many you want to. Exactly.
And you can scale down anytime you want.
Yeah.
That's the truth. Most of the rich guys that I've met, their first homes was a studio apartment. The average Ghanaian who has a 3-bedroom house never bought a studio apartment. What it means is that it took them more years to get their first home.
Yeah.
And then that meant that they would have been frozen the capital, or they would have idled the capital. You see, when you start talking finance, you realize that when you are even idling the money, it's opportunity cost. You are losing that money. So instead of waiting to become general manager and earn 15,000 Ghana cedis before you own a home, while you are earning 3,000 to 5,000, you could have started making deposits.
Okay.
For a studio apartment, $30,000 to $50,000. When you are done, you are not married, you can stay in it. Girlfriends don't mind staying in studio apartments with you. Brothers don't mind staying in studio apartments with you. Even mothers can visit you in a studio apartment. When you get married, you can marry into a studio apartment. Okay. It's when you start giving birth that you need something bigger. If you make this decision early enough, by the time you start giving birth, you will be able to afford a 1 or 2 bedroom house. Then you move out. You get it.
Right.
Then by the time you have the big family, you want to organize house parties in your 50s, you can afford it. And then when you retire, you realize that you don't need a big house because you will be left alone. Your kids are probably they'll be abroad. If you're able to have a nice house in Ghana in your retirement, your children will not like the country. They'll live abroad. Okay. Then you now begin to tone down into smaller units again. But if you strangle yourself to prove a point, you may never even make the point.
You may never make the point.